purpose and function of the Jacksonville Beach Special Magistrate hearing in accordance with Florida Statutes, Chapter 162, in the City of Jacksonville Beach Code of Ordinances, is to reach an equitable expedition to enforce the codes. The city presents the violation and evidence to the special magistrate. Next, the property owner is sworn in and responds to the violation and or evidence. Both the city and the property owner may call witnesses to provide sworn testimony relevant to the case. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, not a public forum. Individuals not called as sworn witnesses will not be heard.
Good afternoon. I know everybody in the room knows this, but my name is Wayne Flowers, and I serve as special magistrate for the City of Jacksonville Beach for code enforcement matters. We're going to be calling the two matters that are on our calendar for today forward in a few minutes. When your case is called, the City of Jacksonville Beach Inspector, Ms. Beavers, will make a presentation, and after that you'll have an opportunity to provide testimony or other evidence that you may want to provide, and you will be sworn in to do so. So with that, Ms. Beavers.
Okay.
Do you, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and your position.
Nikki Beavers, City of Jacksonville Beach Code Enforcement Officer. Okay, we are going to start with case number 22-614. This is for Baby Estates LLC. The violation address is at 804 South 13th Avenue, Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Violations is section 34301, building permit. Building permit was required for work that was done on the property. This was originally cited August 11th, 2022. Received a call from the neighbor stating that there was a lot of ongoing construction happening at the property at night after hours. As you can see in the second picture, there was a structure being built, and I explained to the complainant that until the structure was completed, that I couldn't cipher what was being done or see what else was being done, because we're not allowed to look over the fence.
So the structure that was being constructed is on the other side of the white fence.
Correct. The property owner was converting the property once it was purchased into an Airbnb. So as you can see, this is the property prior to the new property owner, Baby Estates, obtaining it. These are previous photos of what the property looked like prior to any type of work being done in the backyard. There's a deck. As you can see, there's a couple of decks. The one to the far right, you can now see that there was additional work done. There was a fence put up. You can see the fence on the left-hand side in the left picture. The I guess that would be like a gazebo that was constructed. Pergola. And then also for the deck over here on this side, the deck was redone. You can replace broken panels, but the entire deck looked like it had been replaced along with the fence being placed around it. As you go into the house, when the property was put up for sale, it was stated that it was a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house. Me and the fire marshal inspected the property. Mr. Shaw stated that he was going to be here today, but we noticed that more construction had been going on in the house. And when I met with a guy that was at the property, who the neighbor stated was doing the work.
Okay, hold on a second. Was this back on August 11th?
Yes.
Okay.
His name, I think he stated his name was Robbie. I asked him, was he doing any type of construction on the property? He stated no, but as you can see, there was work being done in the backyard, and there was an additional bathroom, so you'll see that there are now 4 bathrooms. Each picture shows a different bathroom within the property. So this is 2, and then here are the other 2.
So it went from 3 bathrooms to 4 bathrooms?
Correct. And there was no electrical or plumbing permits issued by the Planning and Zoning Department. This is just another picture of the rear, the fence. Okay. I did speak with the property owner. She is here today, so come up. So there were some changes that the fire marshal had the property owner correct as far as converting the property to Airbnb. It had been listed as, I think, 3 to 4 different units, and the fire marshal explained to her what could and could not be done to the property.
So that would be changes in addition to what was already done?
Yes, all those changes that the fire marshal required have been corrected.
Okay.
So now at this point, it's just obtaining the permits for the work that had been done.
Ma'am, you want to be sworn in, and then I'll give you your name.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and your address.
Frankie Olandesi, and it's 3332 America Avenue, Jacksonville Beach, Florida.
Would you spell your name for me?
Sorry, Frankie.
Frankie, and what was your last name?
It's Olandesi.
Olandis. Frankie
Olandesi.
Olandis.
Olandesi, yes.
Okay, Ms. Olandis, what is your relationship with Baby Estates LLC?
It's my family's property.
Okay. And so you are a member of the LLC?
Well, I'm not a member on the LLC, but it's my family's. There was a family event for today, and so I'm the one here.
Are you authorized by the manager of the
Yes.
LLC to appear on their behalf today?
Absolutely.
Okay, Ms. Alondas, why don't you tell me, you heard what what Ms. Beavers had to say about the work that's over the
Yes.
property?
Yes, as far as for the pergola, from what I know, and I'll know more on the 29th, we have another meeting with zoning. We had pulled a permanent application December 28th, I believe that was the date. I
Hold on a second, you got a meeting set with?
with zoning, Christian, with Christian for zoning,
On what day?
March 29th.
Okay, and I believe you said an application or applications have been submitted?
I did the end of December. We were having difficulty locating it within the office. Once we meet with him, I had to order a new survey as per our meeting with Christian, which we did. We had to wait some time for it to be completed. It is now complete, so we'll have that meeting again to go over the zoning for the gazebo or pergola, what you call it. And as far as, pulling that permit for all that stuff, it's going to be done, and see what Christian says as far as what's impervious versus pervious, I guess you call it.
So, let me make sure I understand. Has an application actually been filed related to the pergola?
It was in December,
Okay.
yes.
What about the other items?
Not yet.
Construction?
Not yet, because our engineer and our builder have been working with us. It's been an ongoing with that.
May I speak?
So, do I hear that it is your intention to file a permit application, or your family's intention to
Yes, sir.
file
Yes,
a permit application?
absolutely.
Okay.
Can I? After speaking with, Christian in the planning and zoning department, from my understanding, back in December, a insufficient application was submitted, and it was returned back to them, to the property owners in regards to the application being insufficient. I sent notices in regards to the permit applications being submitted, and none had been received other than, I guess, are you trying to get a variance with
So,
Christian?
it was a variance, but from what I know, Mr. Gruber was having difficulty getting that packet of the permit back.
Okay,
He was the one doing it, so I was not aware of not having, he said they were looking for it.
okay.
So
So,
what is your recommendation?
my recommendation would be to come back if she's having is it Olendesi, I'm sorry.
Rolandas?
Olendesi,
Okay.
I know.
I think all of us are saying it wrong.
Spell the last name for me one more time. Just make
Sure, so it's O-L-I.
Landes.
Yeah.
I missed the I on the end.
Okay, no worries.
Olendesi,
Yes.
okay, I had to spell wrong, I'm sorry.
No worries, no worries.
Okay, so, my recommendation would be to come back after the March 29th hearing. And Steve has gotten here, so he can kind of give a little, information to of what was going on at the property. But we would come back after the March 29th meeting, so I guess the
Well,
April.
here's what I would suggest is I would enter an order finding that there is a violation
Okay.
and giving until, the
April.
April meeting.
May.
May meeting.
Because 30 days from, if we did 30 days, because after her meeting, they would know what they need to submit and get their application in. So I would think by the April, because that's the end of the month, that's the fourth Wednesday, or do you want to give 60 days?
I think I'd rather do 60 days because I
Okay.
don't see that, it's likely that, first, variance is not going to be granted within 60 days, I don't think. But
Okay,
at least we would know that it's submitted and the staff is, perhaps recommending favorably on it if they are.
okay.
Um,
My recommendation would be for,
Or the contrary.
okay, and if,
But there's no reason that the building permit parts of this can't be.
correct for all the work, not just the pergola. It
Right.
needs to be for everything that was done.
Okay. So that's what I will do, Ms. Olendesi.
Yes.
I got it right this time. I'm going to enter an order finding the violation, giving probably 60 days to cure. And if it's not cured in that time, there would be a fine that will accrue.
And when you say cured, does that mean like we've pulled the application, we're in that process of getting everything inspected?
You need to get it completed by then. Now, you can speak with Ms. Beavers if for some reason there's good reason why that can't be accomplished, and, she can bring it back before me.
Okay,
But you really need to get it accomplished.
okay.
Right, so, you would
Okay,
get that, that complete application into the zoning department.
okay,
Get a date set to go before the board in regards to your variance application. So if all of that is done by the time we come back for the May hearing,
okay,
then the case could be closed.
okay.
But if there is additional time needed, because there might not be a date for the board prior to the May hearing, that's when I would let the magistrate know that we will grant additional time.
Got it,
But
okay.
as long as it's in process and
Okay,
Christian is giving positive feedback that you guys are doing everything and submitting everything that you need to get in, we can give that additional time.
all right, thank you, I
Okay.
appreciate that, thank you.
Any other questions, Ms. Olendesi?
No, I know what I need to do, thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming here.
Okay.
Thank
All right,
you,
thank
thank you. Bye, Steve.
Okay.
She had a pulse.
Huh,
She had a Vincent.
yeah. All right. Uh-oh. case number 2222 Mandarin Management System. And this case was at 624 North 6th Avenue in regards to a stop work order for work being done without a permit. This was a stop work order that was issued by the building official. I did speak with Clark Stuck, the building official, today, who did inform me that all inspections were final as of today. During our last hearing, you issued an order that anything past February 24th, if it had not been completed and final, that a daily fine of $250 per day begin. So that brought us to a total of a fine of $7,500. And like I said, it's stated that everything was final today.
All right, I'll have to look back at that order to
Okay.
confirm all that. Mr. Palmieri? You want to swear, Mr. Palmieri?
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name and your address.
Ronald Palomir, 13690 Long's Landing Road, West Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, Ms. Beavers, what did you say the day was that
The order was issued on February 24th, that
full compliance occurred when?
that compliance needed to be completed by February 24th. I have a copy of the order here if you want to take a look at it. So it would have been for 30 days, the $250 per day fine.
Okay.
Yes, you gave an order of February 24th by 5 p.m.
Okay. All right, Mr. Palmieri, you have anything
Yes, sir. I'm really confused, if I may.
Yeah.
All the work relative to the permits for electrical and plumbing were completed according to the general contractor and cleared as of that date. A final inspection was the only thing that was scheduled after that point in time. Based on the final inspection, the only thing that was discovered were two items, one of which were the numbers on the front of the house had not been replaced, and the only other item was an open ground on a well receptacle that wasn't even part of the original electrical plan or the original electrical inspection. It was an electrical outlet on the right side of the kitchen, and all the work that had been done by the electrician that was subject to inspection was done on the left side of the kitchen. In the interim, I called back the electrical contractor that had done the original work. They scheduled the work to be done relative to the electrical outlet to be checked out and find out what the issue was. Again, they were told at that point in time that there was an open ground on that electrical outlet on the right side of the kitchen, which was an existing outlet that could have been 40 or 50 years old. It was not even part of the project, but when the inspector did a final, they inspected everything in the entire house, not just the original work that had been contracted through the general contractor, the plumbing and the electrical work. The electrician again went out, corrected the problem with the open ground. We scheduled an electrical inspection, and again, the inspector came out, advised the general contractor that yes, the open ground had been corrected, but it required a GFI. And no one had ever informed the general contractor or the electrician that the requirement was for GFI only that it had an open ground. Again, elite electrical contractors came back out a second time and replaced the receptacle with a GFI, tested it, and according to them, it was working fine, it was working properly, there was no issue. I physically went to the house myself. I have one of those little electrical plug-in things, and checked it, and the lights, it appeared that everything was fine. Another inspection was then scheduled, and I don't know if it was Mr. Strucker who was the inspector, but they came out and said that there's something still wrong with the GFI, in that although it worked properly when you pushed the button on the unit itself, it did not trip when you used the tester that has the button built into the tester, so it had to be a defective GFI. I have pictures of everything to document what I'm saying, as well as a video from the electrician, who now just came out again, replaced the GFI, sent me a video of them testing the GFI with their tester, and showing that everything is working 100% proper. Now, I've tried to do everything that I can do at this point, but all of the electrical work, all of the plumbing work was cleared prior to the last court appearance, other than a final inspection. But the final inspection that took place was for the entire house, not just for the work that had been contracted.
Ms. Beavers, can you give me a copy of the order? I've got my notes from the hearing from last night.
So, like I said, as I stated, the building official just told me that today, like right before we had the hearing, that everything had been finalized. But as you can see, these were the inspections that were completed and the ones that were not.
Send me a copy of the order. You said you got a copy of the order, I thought.
Yes. I think I need to put this on the table. I guess I don't want to.
So the order, which is consistent with what my notes showed, and again, my recollection is that, again, you know, we've been going through this for a long time, and prior to the hearing on February 22nd, you know, this was supposed to be done, and you came in and I was informed at that hearing that the final inspection was scheduled for the 22nd, I believe, if I remember correctly. February, no. Scheduled for February 23rd. And, you know, the order that I entered said, because this has been going on and on and on and on, that if that final inspection was not successfully completed by that day, then it would accrue fines of $250 a day thereafter. So, are you telling me that all the matters that had to be inspected were successfully?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was told by the general contractor that he was contacted by the planning department that the plumbing inspection cleared and the electrical inspection cleared relative to the work that had been contracted, the work that had been done, that had to be reviewed and done by the licensed general contractors. A final inspection per se of the entire house would have put everybody at more of a loss in not knowing, if nothing had even been looked at or reviewed in the past, that here's something that's going to come up after the fact that wasn't even addressed or looked at by any contractor prior to that time. We had no way of knowing that an old outlet on a wall that had never even been touched or anything, that there was an open ground on that.
So
We're no way knowing that.
are you telling me that your contractor told you, you don't have personal knowledge of this, you're going on what your contractor?
My general contractor called me the day before the hearing in February and said, everything, the inspector came in and cleared all the plumbing permits and the electrical permits relative to the work that, the scope of the work that had been contracted. And everything cleared. And that, at that point in time, they was just going to do a final, well, I don't know what that meant, it's the first time I've been exposed to this, a final inspection to clear the permits.
So,
Now,
so, so that final inspection did not happen on the 23rd?
No, there was an issue where the contractor changed. Mr. Palomero had to hire a new contractor, so that is where.
excuse me, that's not the case at all.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
Palmer, you'll get your opportunity to talk, please.
It switched from, Mr. McHugh, who was the original contractor, and so with everything that was going on in regards to the contractor being switched, that is where the final inspections could not be completed. And Mr. Stuckis here can also explain a little bit more of what was going on in regards to why the final inspection wasn't completed until today.
Okay.
Clark, you wanna come on?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect timing.
What's,
I kind of
what's
see
going
when
on?
you come in.
When he was sworn in?
Yes, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and position.
Clark Stuck, building inspector, city of Jacksonville Beach.
And what was your name again? I'm sorry.
Clark Stuck.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Stark, I believe you have testified in this case before.
Yeah, yes, sir.
One of the earlier hearings. There were a number of items that, going back at least a year ago, that constituted work that was done at this property that required a building permit that didn't have a building permit.
Yes, sir.
And at the last hearing in February, what I understood was that a final inspection had been scheduled for February 23rd, February 23rd. And so, I entered into order saying if this, this final inspection had to be completed by that day or else daily fines would occur thereafter. And I'm a little confused by what Mr. Palmieri has indicated that his contractor has told him. Can you tell me what happened in that inspection on the 23rd and what items were non-compliant?
I don't have the information in front of me,
The,
as far as inspection results. You know, I'm saying. And then what day was that, sir? The 23rd, February 23rd?
You tell me what date the inspection occurred, so.
Yeah, I did an inspection on the 23rd for rough mechanical, rough electrical, and rough plumbing. And all three of those were approved. So I don't know where the disconnect is on that.
Rough mechanical,
Rough electrical and rough plumbing, that means it was to the point to where they could start closing up and doing drywall.
okay, so, did that then require any further inspection? Was there something else that was found non-compliant?
Yeah, the final inspections are the very last process in making sure all trades have been installed properly and compliant. And I believe some of those were performed. I mean, I'm not sure when I did the finals, but I know the last final inspection was for the final electrical and the final building. I believe the plumbing was approved, and the final electrical was just approved today. So all the permit was closed, all trades and permits were finalized out today.
So again, let me understand the steps. I was of the understanding that the inspection that was to occur on the 23rd was the final inspection.
No, that was just the rough inspection, ready for,
Okay.
put all, finish it back together, put the cabinets back in, start to make it ready to, basically paint ready, is kind of where it's at. And the final inspection that I performed, I believe it was Wednesday when I got back in town, or maybe the previous week, it was final building.
Hold on one second. So what would happen between the rough inspection and the final inspection? What would,
The contractor would start putting the building back together. That's basically drywall, tile, cabinets, countertops, things of that nature. Appliances. Paint if they wanted to, and we don't necessarily.
so then what is the final inspection?
They want to make sure all life safety things are compliant. I believe one of the things that were deficiency was, the smoke detectors weren't installed. There was a GFCI that was non-functional.
Okay, tell me what a GFCI is.
Ground fault interrupting circuit, basically if there's any area that there is water within 5 feet, has to be able to be ground faulted. If you plug something in and it goes in water, it'll kill the circuit. So that's life safety, that's one of the most important things we do, yeah.
Now, what Mr. Palmieri says is that, that was, I think if I understand him correctly, not part of the construction that was done previously. I think what I hear him saying is, that was called out as something that he needed to.
It was part of the area of work, the scope of work that was permitted with a certain area of the house. So that entire area of the house needed to be compliant. Again, you can say it was already there. Again, there's some things that we don't know, what was there and what was not there. So basically everything that's inside the kitchen has to be compliant. So.
So again, my understanding is this GFCI
Outlet.
was the thing that had to be inspected.
Well, we inspected all the electrical within the kitchen, yeah, and there was one outlet that was not compliant, for first order building code.
All right, Mr. Palmieri.
Yes, sir. Based on the rough inspection of February the 23rd, if there was a deficiency, why would it have not been brought to my attention or to the attention of the general contractor that there was a deficiency that needed to be corrected? We find this out when we schedule a final inspection after the close-up and after everything else is done. There's no way in the world we had any way of knowing on February 23rd that there was an issue that wasn't complied with. We had no way of knowing. It was never brought to our attention. I'm at a, yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, basically, at rough inspection, all circuits should not be energized. That means that if there's any drywall removed, that all the circuits that are run have nail plates on it, it's the correct wire gauge, and then it's ready. You don't power up, wires still in the construction. You have to cover up the drywall, and then you do your trim out, which is you install the plugs afterwards. Lights, switches, plugs, lights. So that would be considered final. Rough should have no power to any part of the building. That's considered all rough.
Okay.
So we don't do wire testing, we don't do live testing of exposed wires that have been installed. Once it's covered, you energize the circuits and then we test. That's considered final.
Okay.
So we would never test that for any structure in Jack's Beach that rough, because they should be dead. So it's up to the electrician to serve as they wire, as done correctly.
No, I don't. And-
I don't feel comfortable imposing this fine, and I'll tell you why. My understanding when I entered the order was that the inspection that was going to occur on the 23rd was that it wasn't a two-stage inspection, a rough and then a final after that. I would
Okay.
structure the order differently if that were the case.
Can we reduce it probably by 80% then?
I don't feel, I wouldn't feel comfortable imposing
With
any
the fine, okay.
because, again, if I'd have understood that it was a two-stage inspection, and, I can't know whether by the second stage things would have been compliant or not.
Okay.
So, and again, with apologies to the building department, because I know this has been frustrating for them, but, I don't feel comfortable based on what I put in this order and what it was based on
Okay,
imposing the daily penalty.
okay.
Or finding that, he didn't comply with the order.
Okay, so, well, at this point, being that the building official has stated that all inspections have been finalized, we can just go ahead and close the case.